was a name upon a page. My eyes are brown, I live in town, and I love the second grade. My little world's turned upside down, and I'm lost inside a maze of men in robes and foster homes. Can you help me find my way? Speak for me, I have no voice. Speak for me, I have no choice. I'm counting on you to carry me through. I'm feeling so lost and all alone. When you speak for me, you give me hope that I'll have the chance to live, to grow, and I will become what I was born to be when you speak for me. You wonder how I run and play when I'm old beyond my years. Unspeakable things these eyes have seen are hidden in my tears. But when I look into your heart, I think I see a friend. Your smile is kind, but I'm still scared. So I'm holding out my hand. Speak for me, I have no voice. Speak for me, I have no choice. I'm counting on you to carry me through. I'm feeling so lost and all alone. When you speak for me, you give me hope that I'll have the chance to live, to grow, and I will become what I was born to be when you speak for me. There are children like me everywhere, faceless names upon a page. But because you took the time to care, my life's forever changed. You speak for me, now I have a voice. You speak for me, now I have a choice. I counted on you, you carried me through. I'm no longer lost and all alone. When you speak for me, you give me hope that I'll have the chance to live, to grow, and I will become what I was born to be when you speak for me. And I will become what I was born to be when you speak for me.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening for CASA's first annual virtual event. This is our 31st celebration of this sort, first time doing it virtually. We hope that tonight you will share with us as we celebrate and acknowledge some incredibly hard work for so many people who keep this organization moving along and doing what we do best, which is advocating for New Hampshire's abused and neglected children. These children need our voices every day, and there are remarkable people behind this organization keeping it moving forward so that we can serve more and more of our children. We have incredible advocates. We have other supporters who we're going to recognize this evening. But first, I'd like to introduce to you David Eby and Amy Cavino, who this year have the extraordinary job of co-chairing our board of directors. They're amazing people with a strong board behind them. So I'm going to turn it over to them for a few remarks.
Good evening. My name is David Eby, and it is my great pleasure to serve as co-chair of CASA New Hampshire Board of Directors. First, let's talk a few numbers. 942, that's the total cases that we've had over the past year. 1,445, that's the number of kids with CASA advocates this year. We have over 500 advocates statewide. We are certainly strong. No doubt, our greatest challenge this year has been the COVID pandemic. But the way we were able to adapt and change really highlights the strength of the leadership team of CASA and the entire organization. With COVID, we were forced to shut down in March, but we worked to shift into a virtual setting. In fact, within days of the governor's stay-at-home order, all staff were working remotely with 100% capacity. We were able to change our in-person training into a virtual setting, and we've trained 68 new CASA volunteers under this new format. Board members with staff hosted 15 virtual information sessions with more than 150 participants, including existing donors and new potential donors, all eager to learn more about CASA. Our CASAs have been challenged during these past months. Much of the state and the entire court system shut down. But our CASAs did not stop working. Our staff set up an online newsletter called CASA Connections to provide tips for virtual work and to support our volunteers. CASAs have stayed in touch with their kids virtually, with telephone calls, text messages, video conferencing, driveway communications, and good old-fashioned letter writing. And while the courts suspended in-person hearings, our volunteers continued to submit their all-important reports to the court and to the judges in their cases. They attended hearings telephonically and oftentimes through video conferencing. CASA Cares has been one of our main events for the past several years for fundraising. This year we were forced to do it virtually. And we did. We stepped up to the challenge, raising more than $200,000 in the effort. As a board of directors, when COVID hit, we stepped it up. We continued to hold meetings virtually, even with more frequency than normal. We did this because we believed it was important to let Marty know and her entire team that we supported her and the mission of CASA. The board of directors started a task force to focus on new and different ways to reach out to existing and prospective donors. We brought on 2 new board members over the past several months, and we are even holding our annual October retreat, albeit in a slightly different format, but we are doing it still, as it is important to reflect and to look ahead and to bond even further as members of the board. And for 2021, moving forward, we have some lofty goals. Staff hopes to recruit at least 250 new CASA advocates. That's a tall order, but we know the wave of new cases are coming, and we need to be prepared. Staff will continue with virtual training and information sessions to supplement in-person outreach and training efforts. As a board of directors, we are constantly looking for leaders in the community to serve on the board. Our goal is to bring in at least 2 new board members in the coming year. And the board will continue to work with Marty and her team to monitor CASA's finances, to serve as ambassadors of the organization, and to take on the challenges that are coming our way, ultimately to provide a CASA for every New Hampshire kid that needs one.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amy Cavino. I'm this year's co-chair for the governing board for CASA New Hampshire. I've been with the organization for more than 10 years now, and I guess I want to start my remarks by saying this is strange, and I miss you guys. Typically, in any given year with CASA, I see you at Snowfest in February, and I see you in June at our annual celebration, and always at our CASA Cares annual fundraiser. And those are important touch points for me to connect with you, the advocates. You know, I'm out and about in my role at WMUR, and so many times, pretty much every week, someone comes up to me and says, Amy, thank you so much for the work you do with CASA, which always embarrasses me. And I'm always quick to correct them and say, you know, I'm not a CASA advocate. I'm just on the governing board. The CASA advocates are the ones who do the very hard, heavy lifting for the children of New Hampshire. They're the ones who read the case files and write those complicated reports and stand up in court and are a voice for the children who are abused and neglected in our state, guiding them to a better, brighter future. And I'm so proud of the work, I'm in awe of the work that you do, and I hope you feel my gratitude in this silly little video. This is an important event, these annual celebrations where we honor your years of dedicated service to the children of New Hampshire. We are proud of you, we appreciate you, we look up to you, we couldn't do it without you. Here's to you, all of you advocates, 500 or more of you right now, serving more than 1,400 children in the past year, an amazing accomplishment, and look at the work we've done in the crazy year that is 2020. My hat's off to you. I hope to see you in person in 2021 and give you a real live hug.
So every year at this event, we have an opportunity to acknowledge 4 very special people from very different areas of CASA's work. We celebrate the work of one of our volunteers by acknowledging and selecting an advocate of the year, which is always a really hard decision to make for our staff who submit nominations and then the selection is made. The other award that we give out is to recognize one of our judges, an outstanding judge. All of our judges in New Hampshire are truly outstanding, but we take this opportunity just to highlight one and the special work that they do and what they have contributed to so many throughout the state of New Hampshire, to our children and families. We also acknowledge a community partner, someone from the corporate or business community who has given back and who has supported our work through some challenging days, particularly this year, but also for many years, and acknowledging their support, which is very different and comes to us in various different ways. And then finally, we celebrate our Champion of Children Award. And this is an award that is given in honor and in memory of an outstanding individual, John McDermott, who dedicated his life to serving children and families, again, throughout New Hampshire. I'd now like to turn it over to Bernadette Plant, one of our program directors, who is going to award our Advocate of the Year award.
Good evening. Congratulations to Mike LaRoche on being this year's recipient of the Linda Egbert Award. Linda was a CASA for 10 years and served on 14 cases and advocated for 26 children. Sadly, Linda passed away in 2017. Linda's family has created this award. It is designed by her daughter, and they are thrilled to be able to provide this award for one person each year for outstanding advocacy. Mike has been with CASA for 11 years. He was part of our original recruitment, 100 Men for 100 Children. Mike has worked on multiple cases over the 11 years he has been with us. Mike has donated 3,400 hours, and his company that he works for, Mammoth Fire Alarm Incorporated, has been very supportive of his volunteer position here at CASA. Alison Frechette, who is a DCYF worker and supervisor, speaks very highly of Mike. She reported he has worked very hard on a case where a child had been in their 4th foster home placement and their 5th social worker. Mike was consistently with this young boy for 5 years. He was the role model, and he demonstrated how to have a reliable, consistent relationship. It is a true pleasure to be Mike's supervisor. I have learnt a lot from Mike, how to be more compassionate, how to actively listen. Mike is calm and very direct in his manner, extremely respected by many people. Mike truly is a huge ambassador for CASA of New Hampshire. It is my immense pleasure to be able to give Mike this award tonight.
Thank you very much. I wonder how this can be. It seems that although I've been doing this a few years, with each new case I take, I find out I know less than I thought I knew in advocating for these children, and I still have so much to learn. I've also met so many wonderful people and fellow advocates who are equally as worthy. With that, I must tell you that I'm sincerely grateful. And when Marty Sink called to inform me that I'd been selected for this recognition, I was both overwhelmed and extremely grateful to have even been considered for this honor. So it is from that sincere gratefulness that I'd like to take a few moments and thank those that established this opportunity for us to help children in our communities. and also who have supported me in advocating for their best interests. I'd like to begin by thanking Marty Sink. As the story goes, a few years ago, as a wife, mother, and foster parent, she recognized and identified the great need for strong advocacy for abused and neglected children throughout the state of New Hampshire. But in addition to just identifying it and calling it out, she joined that great need with the availability of caring adults in those same communities who wanted to help but didn't know how. It is because of her strong advocacy and the organization which she founded and continues to pilot that thousands and thousands of abused and neglected children have grown up now in safe, permanent, loving homes. It is also why I stand here this evening, because she has also shown hundreds and hundreds of adults how their strong voices can be both compelling and at times life-changing for these very same children. I'd like to acknowledge and thank the family of Linda Egbert for this annual honor and for whom it is so named. I never had the privilege of knowing Linda, but her family could not have established a more fitting remembrance for her. I believe that in this life, we are all known by our acts, and our actions and our interactions with others. Linda's will always be remembered anew each year, as a fellow advocate is so honored. And speaking of advocacy, I must thank Bernadette Melton Plant. As my program manager and a program director for CASA, I understand she conducted some tireless advocating on my behalf that I might stand before you this evening. About 9 years ago, in the middle of a very difficult case, which had stalled, the court wanted to change things up. They wanted fresh faces. It actually gave me an opportunity to step away. You see, I hadn't felt that I was making a difference for these children on this case. Bernadette sensed that, she met with me, and she showed me that where I thought I was failing in these children, I was actually helping them. With her support, I remained on the case. I found my voice again, and I was able to make a difference. She is more than just a caring, capable supervisor. She's my friend. Volunteering for CASA has given me the opportunity to meet and admire so many wonderful people, both staff and fellow advocates. I can't name them all, and forgive me if I neglect any, but I'd like to thank everyone at the staff of CASA and those people who are here supporting the volunteers day and night, and in my case, through the years and at times, Diane, Janelle, Tessa, Marcia, Caroline, and Sue Meager. I have also had the chance to meet and listen to and learn from the experiences of other volunteers through the years. People such as Ken and George, Claire, Fred, Ruth, and Nigel, and many more that I have had the chance to meet at trainings and support meetings. And finally, and not least of all, I must thank my incredible wife, Sue, and my children, Ben, Evan, and Tori. As I have grown as a volunteer advocate through these years, Sue and I have watched our children grow into wonderful, intelligent, caring adults. Each different, but each so necessary in making our family whole. They smile at things as I run out the door to a court hearing or a visit or an evening meeting and say, "Have fun at your CASA thing, Dad," which really belies their understanding that what I do is very important to me And they also understand it's important to several children who live in the same community as us and neighboring communities. I am so very blessed. Being a CASA has given me a perspective of just how fortunate I am with my family. Coming home to my family at the end of the day and watching my kids come back to what they will forever know as their home always reinforces my desire to make this possible for each and every abused and neglected child that I have the privilege of advocating for. Thank you very much.
New Hampshire judges are at the core of our case. Every case that we work on has a judge that is the final decision maker. Our job is to give them the information to help them make them the most informed decision maker possible. Every year we recognize one outstanding judge, and every judge in New Hampshire, and I say this all the time, we have a remarkable judiciary, and we are blessed to have these folks on the bench every day. But every year we select just acknowledging one and highlighting their extraordinary work. Judge Cindy Sadler is our honoree this evening, and we want to acknowledge her amazing work for so many years on the bench, from Laconia to Derry to Hooksett. Our advocates that have the pleasure of serving in her courtroom are truly blessed to have her supporting them, to giving them the confidence, the wings, as one of our advocates mentioned, to do this work, and feeling empowered to do the right thing for children and families. So I'm so delighted that Cindy Sadler is getting this award right before she gets ready to move on. She's retiring. We're going to miss her. But just in the nick of time, we are able to honor Judge Cindy Sadler. And a few remarks from Judge Sadler.
All right, so good evening, everyone. Cindy Sadler here. I first want to apologize for looking so disheveled. I'm packing up my house and getting ready to put on the market, since I will be retiring and moving next year. I'm moving out of state, so I can't feel the pressure from Marty to be a CASA after I retire. I can't imagine me being a CASA. Oh, my Lord. I don't have the patience, especially if I had to appear in front of someone like me. Anyway. I also want to express how sorry I am that we're not able to get together tonight. I'm a little COVID paranoid, so I'm playing it safe and staying home. But seriously, I cannot begin to express how honored I am to be receiving this award. It's an honor itself to be able to work on cases involving the state's most vulnerable population. To be clear, I would not be able to make the informed decisions required without the invaluable input from all of the CASAs that I've had the pleasure to work with over the years. As you know, these are the cases that will keep you up at night. It is no less true for me. The decisions I make will have an impact on these children for the rest of their lives. But that burden is certainly lightened by the quality of the input from CASA. As some of you may know, when reviewing a case to get ready for a hearing, I read the CASA report first, and luckily it's on yellow paper, so it's easy to find. But for me, I need to check in with the kids first and see how that's playing out. So to all the CASAs out there, keep speaking your truth. Keep bringing lightness to the darkness. As St. Augustine said, the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Just let it loose. It'll defend itself. These cases are tough, but everyone I've met who's a CASA is tougher than any situation we've ever encountered. Believe it, Rely on it. Keep speaking your truth. To the supervisors I've met over the years, Joy, Janelle, Bernadette, Kristen, Tessa, Sue Meager, and if there's anyone I missed, I truly apologize. I'm getting old. Thank you for shepherding in all the CASAs, making sure that they are fully prepared for the challenges they face, and the ongoing support that you show them. And it was always nice to see you show up in court. To Betsy and Carolyn. Now, when you showed up in court, my first reaction always was, what have I done now? Thankfully, sometimes your wisdom was just what I needed to make the right decision. To Marty, what can I say? We've known each other for decades, which means one of us is wicked old. I have been, and always will be, a huge fan. Thank you for making all of this come true, for continuing the good and necessary fight. You embody one of my favorite thoughts, that in 100 years it won't matter what kind of car you drove or how large your home or bank account was. What matters is that you made a difference in the life of a child. Indeed, you have made a huge difference for countless numbers of New Hampshire's children. So thank you again, CASA, for this award. I am truly honored and humbled. I will treasure it always, and when I get to Virginia, I'll make sure it has a very special place in the new house. What can I say? Cindy out.
So every year we give out a Community Partner Award, and this award goes to a business, a corporation, or an individual who in their own way has supported our work. I'm really delighted that this year the award is going to Steve Friedman. Steve is an executive account manager with 92.5 The River. He's been a dear friend of this organization. He gets what we do, and he shares our story over and over again, whether it's through helping us record public service announcements or showing up at our Snowfest event at Loon Mountain or being part of a committee. Steve is just a phenomenal advocate for us and a supporter of our work. So I am delighted that Steve is getting this award and being recognized in this way this year. Steve wants to share a few remarks.
Hi, it's Steve Friedman. I'm with 92.5 The River radio station. And I got the news that I was selected as a community champion by CASA this year. Thrilled to be a part of the organization, very honored to be recognized by them. But the recognition should really go to all of the CASA volunteers, those people that are fighting on the front lines in our court system to ensure the welfare of children at risk. CASA is an amazing organization. I've been involved for a number of years with their Snowfest event, and as a volunteer on committees and also as a donor. I encourage people to donate because the money's going to an organization that does incredible work to preserve for children the opportunity to have a second chance, many of them at risk, removed from their homes. It's just an amazing organization with a great group of people there. Marty and her team are extremely passionate, dedicated, and gifted people. So again, on behalf of the River, we're thrilled to be involved with CASA year after year. And personally, my wife and I will be at home this year. Sadly, because of the COVID pandemic, we'll be home virtually watching the annual celebration. But again, I'm honored to have been chosen as a community champion, and I thank CASA for that recognition. Best of luck and keep up the great work. Thank you.
And finally, I'm delighted to be able to acknowledge and award the John McDermott Champion of Children Award. John McDermott was a man whose life was committed to changing the future for New Hampshire's youth. He spent his entire career in law enforcement and juvenile justice working diligently to improve the lives of children. John knew and believed the committed work of one or many could and would change the course of events and impact generations to come. John McDermott's life was an example of how relentless advocacy can move mountains and turn the thinking of a single child in need around. The John McDermott Champion of Children Award is an annual award that celebrates the work of one person whose tireless advocacy has influenced the lives of many. John's handprint will forever remain on the hearts of all of us at CASA, and I was personally delighted to have John as a dear friend, and we enjoyed many a pint of Guinness together. Thank you, John. And thank you to his amazing wife, Janice, who holds his memories dear and who holds CASA close to her heart as well. This year, the John McDermott Award is given posthumously to Sylvia Gale. Sylvia Gale happened to also be a dear friend of John, so this award this year has many, many meanings. Sylvia Gale was a longtime supporter of CASA, a former DCYF supervisor and longtime New Hampshire legislator who passed away in August following a battle with cancer. This year, the award is being accepted on her behalf by her daughter, Liz Gale.
Thank you, Marty. I'm honored to receive this award on behalf of my mother, even more honored to be her daughter. CASA has been a household name in our house forever, as well as John McDermott. John McDermott and my mom were friends for 30 or 40 years. I remember John calling the house, asking for Mom after asking me about school and about sports and seeing if Mom was home from work yet. And no, okay, have her call me. That was well before cell phones. Growing up, I remember Mom getting more dressed up some days, and I would ask her why she's so dressed up, and she said she was going to court. And I thought, oh my gosh, my mom got in trouble. But no, Mom said, I'm going to help somebody. I'm going to help somebody about your age that doesn't have anybody to help them. And I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. And then a little while longer after she did it over and over and over, I thought maybe she liked these kids better than she liked me. And one day, out of the blue, she said, don't worry, Liz, I love you more than anything. You are my world. I'm just helping these kids because there's nobody else to help them, and that's my job, to stand up for them and speak for them. So then I thought as a little kid, wow, that's really cool. My mom standing up for these kids. They're so lucky. My mom. And as the years went on, my mom saved the world, committee by committee, board meeting by boarding, rallies. She's pretty amazing, and she put everything she had into everything she believed in and everything she did. Mostly the kids and the women and the environment and everything else, but she definitely was a champion of children, and most of all, she's my champion, so thank you.
So you all know that it takes a village to keep a nonprofit running. At the core of that village is an incredible team of staff, and we have some amazing staff members who show up every day, are doing this really challenging work, whether it's fundraising or being a program manager and supporting our advocates. Two outstanding folks who we want to recognize because they are both entering their 20th year at CASA. They're almost as old as I am. Bernadette Plant, Program Director, and Jenny Sheehan, Program Manager. Those of you that know these two extraordinary women, I'm sure love and adore them as much as I do. And we are just delighted that they have been with us as long as they have, God bless them, and that they will continue to be part of the core of this strong organization. So a few remarks from friends who have worked with them and love them as much as I do.
Hey everybody, I just want to congratulate Bernadette and Jenny on 20 years with CASA. I remember being in their training class with them back in 2001. I thought they were remarkable back then, and I still think they're remarkable. It's never great to grow old, but it's been great growing old with the two of them. So congratulations, ladies, and here's to 20 more.
I've had the great opportunity to work with Jenny for the last 14 years, and as we say around the Dover office, very rarely a dull moment. Over the years, I've learned so much from Jenny about CASA and the cases that come our way. And over the time, I've come to think of Jenny as not only a co-worker, but also as a friend. I've also come to understand that there is no one that says, I think I know Jenny, as either you do or you don't, but her personality and style is unforgettable. She has shown amazing commitment to the CASA program for the past 20 years, and I can't imagine how many children and families have benefited from Jenny's advocacy. Thanks and good luck going forward.
Lucy! Bernadette, you and I were the self-proclaimed Lucy and Ethel of CASA for many, many years. I believe that those that we supervise looked upon us with respect and admiration at times. I know there was a lot of pity and concern as well. You and I as senior management, we think we live in scary times now. And oh man, whenever we would go away to conventions or conferences together, scary things would happen. Only you and I couldn't find an entire national convention in the hotel that it was housed. We also sat by the same place for 3 breakfasts in a row, and on the third time was saying, was that flower shop there every single time that we sat here? And only you could break an ankle crossing a street, and me practically falling over laughing, not my finest moment. And then when we tried to make a makeshift, pack for you using the waste paper basket and ice that looked like you had wet the bed the next morning. Oh my God, Bernadette, the times we had. The hardest thing that I ever did was telling you 4 years ago that I was retiring from CASA. I love you and I miss you. Congratulations. Okay, Sumigran technology, what could possibly go wrong? 20 years as a CASA supervisor, Jenny. Hey, you getting the hang of it there, girl? How are those hours and miles coming? Oh my God, Jenny, our 16 years together, I moved you into 5 different offices. And we had some trauma bonds, you and I. You, Jean, and I were in the Rochester office on 9/11. We lost our beloved Kim, and later loved Jack. But we also had a lot of laughs along the way, Luna being one of them many, many times. Geez, Jenny, when I think of you, I think of somebody that you never quite know what's going to be coming out of your mouth. And as your supervisor, that wasn't always considered a strength. However, girl, I love your wacky mind, the way you think, your great sense of humor. I think that you are one of the most compassionate and knowledgeable people in the state of New Hampshire about how to support and help all children and victims. And one thing I've always thought about you, Jenny, is you have got the biggest, most giving heart of anyone I've ever known. I love you, girl. And you know what? It's not too late to become that school lunch worker when you get hit retirement. All right? Take care. Love you.
Congratulations on 20 years at CASA, both Bernadette and Jenny. How remarkable.
Jenny, I just want to thank you for always talking to us about teens and reminding us that teenagers are so important and should never be forgotten. That is my takeaway from your years here at CASA, and thank you for all the lives you've impacted and changed, all for the better. Bernadette, thank you for your 20 years at CASA. I have learned so much from you. We have some great times together, and I really benefit from your guidance and your experience, and I really appreciate working with you. You too have also changed a lot of children's lives, all for the better, and you should be so proud of yourself. Congratulations.
So thank you for joining us this evening. It's been a different event, but equally important to be able to celebrate and recognize our advocates, those 5, 10, 15, and 20-year awardees, and those special folks that we acknowledged as giving back to CASA in very unique and different ways, and at their advocacy, from our Judge of the Year to our John McDermott Champion of Children, to our community partner, and our Advocate of the Year. Thank you for what you do. We're all in this together, and we will continue to stay strong and continue to do this important work for New Hampshire's children. God bless you. Good night.